What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Darian, the BowTie fragrance guy. I enjoy looking good and I love to smell great. But you guys already know that because I say it every time I do a video. Yeah, right. Yeah, so anyway, today I want to talk to you guys about a fragrance, and if you watch my top 10 niche fragrance, if you watch my top 10 summer niche fragrance video, then this fragrance actually came in at #1 on my list. And of course, that should say something about how I feel about the fragrance that I'm going to talk to you guys about today, because if it made #1 on my list, that must mean that I actually enjoy the fragrance, and I actually do. So today I'm talking about a fragrance from Xerjoff, the house of Xerjoff, and this fragrance is from the Shooting Stars Collection, and I'm speaking about no fragrance other than Xerjoff Nio. Xerjoff Nio. So guys, if you want to hear my quick take on this fragrance, you know how we do. Keep it locked right here. Guys, thank you so much for staying tuned in, for keeping it locked in with me. We're gonna go ahead and jump into talking about Xerjoff Nio. So the first thing I want to do is take a look at the presentation. Now, Xerjoff fragrances in general are very expensive, and these fragrances from the Shooting Stars Collection is even more expensive than some of the other lineups from this collection. But one of the things that I really feel like you're paying for, of course, is the presentation on these fragrances. Now, in my humble opinion, these presentations on these Xerjoff fragrances are really second to none. It comes in this case, if you want to call it, and it has it comes in this case. It has the symbol on the front. It says Xerjoff at the bottom down here. When you open it up, and I will be very careful with opening this up, the fragrance sits in this case right here, so it rests right here in this case. They send you something here. I'm not sure exactly what's in here, honestly. I think it's some kind of card of some sort that comes in this case. Then it has the name of the fragrance, and actually the number and the batch number is right here on this gold plated, it's right here on this gold plate. It has the actual batch number of this fragrance listed right here, so you know what batch you have. As I said again, it rests right in here, so it rests comfortably right here in the case. Again, in my humble opinion, the presentation is second to none. Now when you actually look at the bottle, it says Xerjoff right here across the top of the cap, and again it has the symbol here, and it says Shooting Stars Nio right here across the bottom. Now this particular bottle is a newer bottle. The older formulations of this fragrance, it looked a little bit different. It was more of a little bit taller bottle, different shape, almost more of a rectangular almost shaped bottle, but same juice. But this is what the more current formulations of this fragrance looks like. Next guys, let's get a little bit more into what this thing smells like. Now, this is highly regarded, and I agree with this sentiment. This is highly regarded as one of the best citrus aromatic fragrances in the game, and I would have to agree with that statement. It opens up just very fresh, very invigorating fragrance. This opens up with a blast of bergamot and neroli. Now, at times I've tried to find myself really trying to differentiate which one of those notes that I'm getting more of, the bergamot or the neroli. But this thing is blended to perfection, so I actually get a very equal balance between the bergamot and the neroli in this fragrance. Now, the thing that really separates this, in my opinion, from some of the other citrus-based fragrance on the market is that the quality of the notes that are utilized in this. Oftentimes I see fragrances are advertised for having Calabrian bergamot and Haitian vetiver and these different type exclusive notes in it, and sometimes it's really hard for me to tell that there's a different level of quality notes used in some of those fragrances, but that's not the case here. It is quality through and through. So as I said, it opens up with that blast of bergamot, and the roller is very, very well balanced. And shortly after spraying this fragrance, it's greeted by some spices. There's pink pepper in this, there's nutmeg as well. And I definitely get some spicy nuances after about 5 minutes into spraying this. I actually sprayed it earlier, it's on my hand. Yeah, but the citrus elements of it remain pretty much throughout the life of the fragrance, and that's something that I really, really like about it. It keeps that freshness. Now, as I said, at about 5 minutes, you're gonna get hit with some nutmeg, some pink pepper. Again, it starts to be a little bit spicy as it gets to the heart of this. But there's a note of vetiver in this that helps to keep this fragrance fresh. Now, vetiver can be used in fragrances. A lot of times you can get more of an earthy, rooty type vetiver, because sometimes vetiver is actually derived from the actual root of the plant. But then other times, of course, it is used more from the leaves of the vetiver plant. And I think that's what the variety that's used in this, because it's not really that earthy, kind of dirty vetiver. One of the fragrances I can reference, or you get that earthy vetiver, is Tierra de Hermes. Get a very earthy, rooty vetiver in that, but this one is more of a little bit more of that cleaner variety. But it does give it a little bit of an earthy nuance, and it actually adds a very, very great, and actually it adds a really, really great element to this fragrance with the use of vetiver in this. So it's spicy in the heart, still fresh and citrusy from the bergamot and the neroli. And again, the vetiver is fighting in there to keep this fragrance fresh and not being taken over by the spicy notes in this. After about 40 minutes into this dry down, you start to get more woodier elements in this, and you have cedar wood is used in this, guylic wood as well. Now, patchouli is also listed as a note. I don't pick up a whole lot of patchouli. I get more of the woods, again, the guylic wood and the cedar wood, just a small hint of patchouli. But I really think what the patchouli does in this fragrance is it really helps the fragrance to give it that lasting power. And that's one of the other things that's kind of unique about this fragrance to me, is a lot of times when you find fragrances that of this compositional nature that have fresh notes like bergamot, you know, the citrus notes and neroli and things of that nature, and it is utilized most of the time in the summer, a lot of times you kind of suffer on performance. But I think the use of the notes of like patchouli in this kind of give it a little bit of lasting power. And again, that's a bonus for this fragrance, because I get 7+ hours each time I wear it. It projects for about the first 2.5 hours. I get really, really solid projection. And it doesn't really become a skin scent at that point, but it gives me that bubble. You know, about a foot or so radius, you can still pick this up after it reaches the 2.5 hour mark, and you're gonna get complete longevity. Again, on average for me, it's been between 7 to 9 hours. So it gives you a full day's work, and that's a lot of times what you're looking for out of a fragrance, especially one that you can wear in the summertime. Now, application. I usually go about 4 or 5 sprays with Nio. Again, it's very expensive. I'll get to that in a moment. But I use about 4 or 5 sprays. I usually 1, 2, one on the chest and one on each arm, and I'm pretty much set for the day. And again, I always pick up. I'm one of those people, I like to be able to smell the fragrance that I'm wearing, and when I start not to smell it, I have a tendency to want to reapply. But at different points in times in the day, I can pick up whiffs of this, so I really, really, really enjoy that, especially for a citrus-based fragrance. Now, what's the best season to wear this fragrance? You know what, I'm glad you asked me that question. So, best season, of course, is going to be summer and spring, and in that order. I would preferably, I would say the summertime and then the spring. But this is one of those fragrances, because of the way, because of the quality of it, you can actually get away with wearing this if you're in an office environment in the fall and winter seasons, but definitely it is composed to be more of a warm weather fragrance. Now, is this fragrance worth it? Well, I would say, of course, my thing on value is it's all about, you know, what you can honestly afford. I think for a collector, this is one, if you can get it, you would definitely want to get it in your collection. I want to say the retail on this is about $260. So this is a 50 milliliter, so it is pricey. But of course, there are different ways you can go about getting this. Lucky Scent has it. A lot of times, I would encourage you guys to enjoy maybe fragrance swap groups. A lot of times you can get this for around around the $200 mark. Oftentimes the least expensive that I've seen is, but if you can get it at a good price, I would say it's worth it. If you're a collector, to definitely have it in your collection. There are other fragrances out there that kind of put you in this realm. Bergamot 22 is one. It's a little bit less expensive than this, but there are some others out there, of course, that you could look into that are really heavy on the bergamot and the neroli type combo that are good fragrances as well. But I would definitely say this is the head of the class. As I always say, guys, thank you so much for staying tuned in with me and taking the time to listen to this review of Xerjoff Nio. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share these videos. Now, why would you guys do that? I mean, I just want to know why you would do that. Not just because I'm asking you to do that, but I really want to know why you would do that. And I'll give you a second to tell me. I mean, I got time. I do have to go to work, but I got a few minutes, so go ahead. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Could you be mine? Because I am the BowTie fragrance guy. And I love looking good and smelling great. So until next time, guys, keep looking good, keep smelling even better, because you know how I say, I will catch you where? You know, on the flip side. And don't forget, I make this stuff look good, baby. Peace. I'm hot. I'm out. And the crowd goes wild. It's sad for intimacy when you want to be a sissy without the feminine firm. What's about one of my favorite random information? I know. Xerjoff Nio, baby, get you some.